What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another film breakdown. Today, we're going to be analyzing what went right and what went wrong against the Ravens. I'm going to focus on our improved defense. JJ Watt, PJ Hall, they had games. Brandin Cooks and Randall Cobb are positives for the offense, and I'll look at that offensive line as well. I'll be making an exclusive video for the Texans Thoughts team members talking about what's going wrong with the offense from play calling to Deshaun Watson. So if you're interested in that, hit that join button, and for just $3.99 a month, you'll get access to a bunch of awesome perks. Alright, let's break down the film between the Texans and the Ravens because the film don't lie. So the first thing I want to talk about is our third down defense. We held the Ravens to just a 35% third down completion rate, particularly 5 out of 14 third downs. This was huge to see from the defense, and they in particular only give up 2 touchdowns. The offense, they did us no favors, but I love how Weaver has this defense prepared and playing with energy, despite a lack of elite talent. So let's look at these third downs and see how the Texans were able to get off the field. So here's one of our 4 sacks on the day, and it's a mix of good execution and good scheming. So look at how we creep all these guys down into the box so you can't tell who's coming. You've got your regular 4 down linemen, but Cunningham could blitz, Jay Reed could blitz, even AJ Moore, or honestly either of these cornerbacks could blitz. It ends up just being Jay Reed, but Weaver also has JJ and Omenahu on a stunt here, which coupled with the GOAT getting pressure upfield, it forces Lamar to step up and right into the waiting Omenahu, who did a great job to collapse the pocket. Now let's look at it from a coverage standpoint. We're in nickel cover 1, which is essentially our base defense most games, and since we're pressing, the Ravens try to run a pick route and have the running back open. But Lamar doesn't see it, and this is exactly how pressure can kind of hide poor coverage mistakes. Since our run defense improved from last week, we were able to force the Ravens into more difficult third downs, where Weaver would often dial up these blitzes. This ain't rack no more, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. So we're gonna send 6 guys on this one, and the Ravens are blocking 6, so they should be okay, right? Well, there's a chess battle here where we overload the right side, so we've got 4 blitzers to just 3 offensive linemen. So the Ravens respond by sending their running back to the right to pick someone up. We throw another curveball by having Cunningham loop behind Omenahu, and you can see how this misdirection messes with the right guard and the running back. They both go to get Eric Murray and leave Zach unblocked for the sack. This is what we've been wanting for so long, a defensive coordinator who's actually creative and is able to scheme rushers open. Anthony Weaver is the truth, and I'm so impressed by him early in this season. Another one here where he creates a free blitz, and even though we don't get the sack here, it's about making Lamar uncomfortable, forcing him to check it down, and making the tackle so that we can get off the field. Look at Vernon Hargreaves here. He's the outside cornerback in this zone, but because the Ravens have a tight end out here and no wide receiver further out wide, Hargreaves gets to play closer to the ball and is essentially blitzing from the nickel position. If you've seen my video on Weaver from the offseason, I showed y'all that he loves these nickel blitzes, and here they are now. So Vernon misses the sack, but he creates pressure on Lamar and forces him to miss the timing on these quick throws. That buys the defense time as Lamar resets, and you can see now that Jay Reed is getting ready to drive downhill. He wasn't before, but because of the pressure, he's in better position to make the tackle for the stop now. Reed had a 100 times better game than last week, especially tackling wise, but let's get into 2 of the most impactful players Sunday and started off with JJ Watt. He showed that he's still that dude. He's still elite, and I wasn't worried about his not so like JJ performance last week because JJ always takes a couple weeks to get back into the swing of things. So on this play, he's gonna bait the tackle really well by shooting out his 2 arms. Then you can see the tackle responds by counterpunching, and look how extended out their arms are. That creates an easy target for Watt to rip under, and that's exactly what he does. Look at how wide he comes out at Lamar here, forcing him to run back into the pocket, and oh look, there's my guy PJ Hall collapsing the pocket and forcing Lamar right back to JJ. You need a full team effort to contain Lamar Jackson, and this JJ-PJ duo is legit. On his second sack, the coverage holds up for just long enough. Lamar holds onto the ball for 4 seconds, and that's too much time to give JJ Watt. Let's look at how everyone works together. B-Mac covers his first option and the tight end. Zach is close enough to the running back and blocks the lane for the slant initially. Lamar should have anticipated a throwing window once Zach runs left, but we've got AJ Moore right here, and maybe that spooked him. So Lamar tries to roll out left, but senses Merck is close and goes back right. Have fun with JJ instead. Now, let's look at JJ's move. So he's gonna throw the long arm, then rip underneath. And at this point, he's still not won cleanly, so he clubs with his outside arm and flips his hips to the quarterback. That's just textbook JJ on that one. Now let's move on to the next bright spot of the defense, and that was PJ Hall. I don't know what it is with us and Raiders reclamation projects, but him and Conley look a million times better with us than the Raiders. So PJ was great versus the Chiefs in the run game and saw his snaps increase versus the Ravens, and I love that Weaver is rewarding him for that. And PJ, man, he's a disruptive dude. He can wreak havoc in the middle of the line and make plays happen for himself or others. Hall is very fundamentally sound, always playing with low leverage and good inside hand placement to be powerful. Again, he creates disruption here, and this time the linebackers do better to make the tackle by getting off their blocks. The best defensive tackles, though, are able to finish off these plays themselves, not having to rely on linebackers, and PJ shows that here, by nicely stacking and shedding his block. If he can consistently do this, man, people I think are going to forget about DJ Reader pretty quickly. He doesn't get moved by this combo, and here's the low pad level again to be strong. And look how he has his eyes in the backfield reading the running back. He hits the offensive lineman with a nice club move, get off me, and makes the run stop. Beautiful. Now before we get to the offensive side of the ball, I just want to really quickly commend Jacob the GOAT Martin. We played him more on rundowns, and he made plays, man. Slips 2 blocks on that one for the tackle. There's no reason why he shouldn't take all of Scarlett's snaps and still some of Merck's. Neither of those guys made plays yesterday, despite playing far more snaps. This Texans defense can be so much better when Martin getting more edge snaps. I don't want to hear any excuses that he can't play the run. He had 2 run stops. Merck didn't even scratch the damn box score, and their beloved Brandin Scarlett, who is not setting the edge whatsoever. Get them off the field and let the GOAT prosper. Alright, enough ranting. The defense as a whole is a bright spot and a big reason as to why we can't panic right now. The season is not over. There's still room to improve on that end, and improving on offense will only help that as well. So, moving on, let's look at the new wide receivers Brandin Cooks and Randall Cobb and see how they look more comfortable this game. Here's our go-to RPO play that I broke down last video, and Cooks gets the ball quickly on a slant. I like this play, but not as often as we run it. If I can pick it up this quickly and know when it's coming, defensive coordinators can sniff it from a mile away. Hopefully we are setting up more progressions off this play to trick defenses, maybe even a screen or a dump off to the running back who's wide open with tons of space. So Cooks finished with 5 catches for 95 yards, and here's the bomb that we were all waiting for to see, and he gets 38 huge yards. Like I said last video, the Texans take their deep shots around midfield between either 40-yard line. As always, they go under center, play action fake, and they're off to the races. And look at the clean pocket that Watson has to work with. That's what more play action will do for us. Please go to that more often, not just at midfield when it's predictable. Also, the route by Cooks here is beautiful. He's running a deep crosser, but he doesn't purely rely on his speed to get open. Instead, he runs upfield subtly, and you can see how the safety is forced to respect that because of the threat that Cooks' speed is. And he flips his hips entirely. And at that point, he's toast. We need to see more of this. We can't let all of our speed go to waste. Play calling got to get their shit together and be more consistent. Now, these next 2 plays are a really important development for the offense. It shows the comfortability Cooks is gaining with this unit, and he's not open at first, but he works to give Watson a window at the last second. These scramble rules are huge for a mobile quarterback like Watson, who loves to buy his guys time to get open for him. Nuke was really great at it, and it's something that Cooks didn't really have to think about as much with Goff as he does with Watson. But as the 2 play together more often, they'll be able to build this on-field chemistry, and we can see that it's already forming. This next play is just peak Deshaun Watson. The offensive line lets him down, so he hits him with that Kobe fade off his back leg to Cooks. If this doesn't remind you of some of his last-ditch effort throws to Nuke, I don't know what will. Again, showing the trust Watson has in Cooks to help him make that play. With Fuller playing injured, Cooks was able to step into that wide receiver 1 role and produce. The next best wide receiver was Randall Cobb that day, finishing with 5 catches for 59 yards on just 6 targets. What I want to really look at is the difference in how we used Cobb throughout the game. Early on, he was the motion guy in these RPOs, just running out to the flat to stretch the defense and be sort of a distraction. They never got him the ball on these, and maybe that's why he ran such a lackadaisical route on Watson's interception, allowing Peters to come off of him and make a great play. But after the first around quarter and a half, I'd say they started to get Cobb running routes over the middle of the field, an area that both he and Watson excel at. This is what we need more of. Quick, easy throws that also give him yak opportunity. The biggest thing that I took away though is Cobb's quick improvement reading blitzes as the hot option. Last week, I showed a play where Cobb was guarded by a safety deep on a blitz, and he just kept running deep, not making himself an option for Deshaun. Well, this week he already learned from that mistake. So initially, it looks like Cobb is covered, but this dude is actually blitzing. And so Cobb has tons of space yet again off the release, but instead of running deep, even though there is space, he knows that since there's a blitz, Watson has to get the ball out quickly. So look at how he cuts off his route and finds the hole in the zone. That's learning from your mistakes. That's a veteran move, and that's something that's going to help Watson going forward. The last thing I want to talk about is the offensive line and how they've been letting Deshaun Watson down. On his first sack, Titus gets beat so fast. Look here when Watson is at the top of his drop. No one's open. No one. And so he instantly has to scramble, and there's nowhere for him to go. And he can't throw it away because he's in the tackle box. Sack number 2, and here the Texans are taking a shot at midfield, and you can see that Fuller is open, but Sharpen got beat so quickly that Watson covers the ball up instead of letting it go and potentially fumbling it on the hit. On sack number 3, again, no one is open at the top of Watson's drop. Tunsil is the culprit this time and gives up the pressure. Someone told me Cooks is open on this seam route, but 1, he's not even looking at Watson, and 2, it's not a seam, it's an out, and Watson just can't make that crossbody throw. Now Cobb is open right here, but this linebacker is closing in, and Watson isn't really in a position to throw it. He knows Cobb is open though, and that's why you see this stutter by him later throughout the play. I'm going to break down sacks 4 and 5 on the exclusive video for team members, as well as other aspects of the offense that are causing us to look horrible. So again, if you're interested in that, hit that join button to be part of the Texans Thoughts team. Alright, that'll do it for my Texans Ravens film breakdown. What I wanted to show is that against an elite offense, our defense showed legit signs of promise. We played the 2 toughest teams in the league in my opinion, and while the results aren't what we wanted, I think we saw gradual improvements on both sides of the ball. And if not for those 2 turnovers by the offense, this would have been a completely different game. So don't panic yet, the season is not over. And if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Also, if you're looking for more Texans content during the season, check out Texans Unfiltered. We've got a website, podcast, and YouTube channel where me and the guys put out tons of content. The links will be in the description. Alright, take care everyone, and remember, the film don't lie.